Can you tell I'm just letting the silence stretch?
Yeah. And it's making me uncomfortable.
Well, let's put a stop to it.
Yes.
Who needs all this silence? This is podcasting, damn it.
Yeah, we're here to make noise.
You're listening to The Great and Secret Knowledge, a speculative fiction podcast. I'm Jeff, and with me is the marvelous Jessie.
Hello.
Hello, hello. We are here in the midst of just internet-wide acclaim, apparently, for our inaugural episode. People are loving this Jessie and Jeff dynamic.
People are on board. People are enjoying it.
And when I say people, I mean at least two, which, you know, in this business is a pretty big deal.
I'll take it. One of my friends, hi Beck, she said she doesn't normally listen to podcasts all the way through, but she listened to our episode about the robot revolution, the whole thing, which that was a long effort.
Wow, it was a long episode.
We had a lot of getting to know yous, I think, that really kind of had to come along with that as well. Like,
yeah, it was like an hour.
Just talking up front before we even got to the episode.
Yes. All right, listener, this should be just an hour. Who am I kidding? An hour and a half at least. So tuck in. Where should we begin? Overall feelings on this episode.
I had a lot of feelings on this episode. I think there was some really emotional moments, which we'll get to. There was an absolute moment where I felt seen in a way that I haven't been ever, I think, in Doctor Who. I really enjoyed the color palette. I thought that was a lot of it kind of really conjured that 1952 energy. I noticed with a lot of the colors, they used it very muted, in line with the kind of colors they could reproduce on film during that era. And they aligned that very well to really give it that shot in time vibe, I think. And they don't always get that right with Doctor Who episodes that go into the history. I think the Shakespeare Code does it well. It's very lots of brown tones and suits it, but this really nailed it. The blues and the yellows, particularly the reds in the cinema when all the people were sitting there at the start, and same thing in the TARDIS. Like, it didn't have its brightly lit white vibe. It was much more blue.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like a soft baby blue kind of. Yeah.
Visually, I just really enjoyed it. And then with like the yellow over the top in their outfits, and even in the outfits before they got changed, there was lots of yellow, which really sat well against the soft blues that they had in the background of the TARDIS. And then you just had the jukebox sitting there going yellow as well. So very much looked gorgeous, just visually pleasing. Like, there's I think sometimes you look at episodes of any TV show or movie, and I just like a nice soft tone. It's comforting.
Yeah, sometimes it's challenging or like confronting, And this one, almost every frame is just like, hey, welcome. You know, have some ice cream, hang out a while.
Yeah, we'll bring your snacks to your seat.
Yeah.
Instead of you having to miss the
that
movie.
Sounds good. Hey, somebody make a diner that has a movie theater attached, and they'll like bring in your breakfast or whatever.
Do you not have gold class?
I don't know if I haven't done that before, but maybe people do.
I definitely have. We've got down here, we've got a Greater Union, the cinemas do gold class, and you can order alcohol, you can order food, you can pre-order it to come in at, I want my first drink at 30 minutes, I want my second drink and they will come and bring it in. And they'll bring you in hot food to eat and super lush recliners, and it's not, movies are expensive enough as it is, but it's a whole experience that can be a lot of fun. Like if you've got it, or they just have a little button, and so if you press the button, they'll come in quietly and take your order.
That's fun. That sounds exciting. My parents' theater in Gig Harbor has a bar. It's funny though, because everything's like twice as expensive as it is in the real world. It's really like I don't know, it's like being in a casino. It's common enough to serve alcohol at regular cinemas now. My local cinema, while it's not the mainstream ones, it's the alternative ones that shows all the independent films and things like that, Palace Cinema. And you can absolutely buy alcohol at the snack counter. Not for kids' movies, I found out. I went to see Inside Out 2, and they're like, nah, you can't have your glass of Prosecco. But my favorite trick is there's a supermarket next door. I always just buy a whole bunch of like little meat and cheese snacks, the little packets, and get a glass of wine. I remember it was the second Downton Abbey movie. I just went and I had built my own charcuterie board in front of me with my glass of wine and watched Downton Abbey 2, and it was glorious. That's amazing. How cool. Movies are so great.
Oh, it's the best.
I'm more of a TV guy myself, but yeah, movies are fun.
I love movies.
Last movie I saw was with my dad, and I just went straight to the theater. Like, he's getting some dementia. So I'm just like, I'm not going to worry about trying to figure out which one to watch. We're just going to go, and whichever one is starting when we get there, boom, that's the movie. And it was a Jason Statham kick-ass movie called Working Man.
I've seen that.
And it was fun.
I remember taking my elderly grandmother, and I got to pick she'd take me to the movies every holidays, and I got to pick. And there were a couple I think shocked her with. She was very, good Christian lady. Didn't drink, and I took her made her go see Batman Returns and also Good Will Hunting. And that's got a lot of swears in it.
How about them apples?
It's one of my all-time favorites. I love Good Will Hunting.
That was my Boston accent. How about them apples?
Oh, what's the sentence that gives it? There's different sentences.
Ooh, Catwoman is amazing in Batman Returns.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
I'm not as thrilled with Chester Copperpot's portrayal, but might have just been the makeup.
No.
Danny DeVito's cool either way.
No, Danny DeVito is amazing in everything, and he was perfection as Oswald Cobblepot.
Oswald Cobblepot.
But him biting that guy's nose will...
That really upset me.
And the way he eats the fish and starts dribbling black down his face.
Ugh.
I found it terrifying as a kid. Still love the movie, but I would I think it's iconic. Like the penguin needs to be ugly. Like the makeup they do for Colin Farrell to make a man that good looking, that ugly, must take time.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I think I just like the penguin.
Man, I was at a certain age where like Michelle Pfeiffer was like the hottest woman in the universe for 10 minutes or so.
Yeah. She is amazing.
It was like her, Janet Jackson, Britney Spears.
Oh, Britney.
This was my youth.
For me, it was
Whitney Houston.
For me, it was definitely Britney Spears, Eliza Dushku. She's my absolute favorite. How you figure out you're queer as a teenager before you found the words for it. I watched a lot of Buffy and Bring It On. We've already gotten distracted, but
yeah, we're just thinking of hot ladies over here. All right, folks. So, yes, the cinema. This is a love letter to the cinema. And then halfway through or 2/3 of the way through, it becomes a love letter to our very favorite TV show.
Oh,
how does this guy do it?
So good. That moment where we'll get to it, but yeah, that moment where they crawl through, it absolutely blew my mind. I was like, wait, what? It's here. I'm right. I've always thought, maybe the doctor is real and the doctor reports to the BBC and then they make the TV shows.
It's amazing. Oh my God. If the doctor was real, he could maybe take us away from all this.
It would be the ultimate fantasy, right? Like the doctor grabs your hand and says, run. Who doesn't want that? Belinda, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's growing on her a little bit.
Definitely. There's she's getting there. I feel like there's a real moment here where it really clicks into her brain in this episode that, all right, so we're not going to have a full Tegan run of just complete aggression against right up until the end.
I'm just hearing Tegan in my mind now. I can't remember any specific lines, so it's just, her going, nar, sort of Australianing up in my brain.
Ah, sure. Well, it is.
Doctor.
It's a pretty distinct accent, and I think it was more pronounced back then as well. Like the Australian accent, like if I go back and watch some like old Nicole Kidman films, like there's a particular classic called BMX Bandits, and it is just the curliest of curly haired Nicole Kidman running around with the broadest Australian accent, and it's basically about a BMX gang.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah, iconic.
Man, when she popped on the screen with Alec Baldwin in, I want to say, Malice.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the one where she was nude.
Oh.
It was quite a big deal at the time.
Yeah, if you say nude Nicole Kidman, I just think of Eyes Wide Shut, which...
Oh, I just watched that the other day. It's so good.
This is another one of my controversial opinions. I don't like Stanley Kubrick films. There's yet to be one I've watched that I've enjoyed.
I feel like they're important parts of the canon, but I can't think of one that like draws me back to it the way other films do. Like I've only seen 2001 once.
Oh, that's the
Shining once or twice. They're just too cold, I think.
It's The Shining that first kicked me off with not liking him because I'm such a big fan of the book. The film is so inaccurate, whereas so I like the TV movie version with Steven Weber, because Stephen King heavily involved with the script writing process and production on that one, and so it has so much more of a, like, it's accurate to the book in a way that the Stanley Kubrick one isn't. And I saw that first too, so I was like, why would I watch this other weird one that's not accurate?
I think the kid is really fantastic. I think the twins are super creepy.
That's iconic.
But yeah, the Nicholson dynamic is just, he starts out too bad. He should be just sort of like a loser that becomes awful rather than a guy you wouldn't want to be anywhere near your wife.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Stuck with her for months.
No, and I think Steven Weber does it really well in that miniseries. Like he's got the right element. Like he can get real creepy. He can do some crazy eyes. And the little kid in that one is also from the Little Rascals, and I love that guy.
Oh, that's great.
Sorry, walking IMDb brain.
The guy that plays Dick Halloran is really good too in the film.
Yeah, very true.
He's got a funny name. I can't remember it.
In the Kubrick one?
Yeah, it's like Flying Joe Hawkins, but it's not.
Oh, yeah, no, one of they
Chester Funnyname. One of those.
Oh dear. Now I have to look it up.
Yeah, Scatman Crothers.
Scatman. Oh, he's a Scatman. That's awesome.
Yeah, Scatman is fantastic. And the hotel itself looks super good. But we're not here to talk about The Shining.
No, we're clearly...
Or Stanley Kubrick or Stephen King. My favorite writer, I think, for his complete body of work and his influence on me as a youth.
There's just a couple of writers that I always put into this like above and beyond category, that the way they put words together is beautiful in and of itself. Like I'd put Anne Rice in that category as well.
Yes.
She's
Ooh.
I enjoy the structure of the word choice as much as I enjoy the story. Tolkien.
Yeah.
We're clearly very going on lots of tangents today.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. We're talking about the best of pop culture because it's in conversation with one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen. It's going to be hard to talk about this one critically. So I think it's important that we spend a little time up top, cool, given our overall impressions, like the clothes, the dialogue, the characters,
the hair.
Like I can find like one or two things that aren't to my liking, and it's only because they're in an episode where everything else is fantastic, you know.
That's true. The
hair.
Oh, both of them.
I can't take my eyes off of her for a second in this film. It's and his is like molded, like
very Sammy Davis Jr. kind of that like lacquered down of the like the more, you know, African hair with that's so fine and so curly. To have like having it just waxed down with pomade.
Shiny.
I'm assuming it was pomade. Who does their hair in the TARDIS? That's one of my questions. I get that there's a wardrobe. I get that there's...
It's got to be like a replicator type thing you stick your head in, you know, or an archway that does it.
The spray River Song has in the Husbands of River Song.
Oh, that's right. Nanobots, who knows?
Space reasons.
Some magic tech they don't show us because then they'd have to explain it, and who needs that aggravation?
No. But I'm so happy we're getting like just all of the episodes. last season had such a Shooty had a different outfit every week. And I love that they're just running with that but they're actually like talking about it in show where, Belinda's like, I can't wear this. I need to change my outfit. Whereas Rose wore that pink jacket for like 2 seasons and it was still in the TARDIS when Donna pops up. So it's a bit of a shift from 20 years ago where they had a set outfit and that's what they worked with. Let's have some fashion.
It's absolutely incredible. I have a soundbite for this. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, please.
Nothing's happening. Damn it.
It did so well before we were recording. It worked perfectly. I promise, listeners, it did.
Okay.
All right, you got it?
Starting now. Oh, for fuck's sake. Come on, people.
Oh, Murphy's Law. It's got to get late. You did all this preparation, had it ready to go.
We bounced all the way back to 1952.
There's 1952 out there.
Mm-hmm.
We're in actual 1952.
Except you want to go home, so I'm going to pop out on my own.
Not a chance, out of my way. I went to sleep in this. Can it get me arrested in 1952?
Belinda Chandra. This is the fun bit, honey. The clothes.
Yes.
The clothes.
It
Oh, my God.
fits so well with Shooty's Doctor, like having the first queer-coded Doctor be so into fashion and so considerate of his outfit choice, but not just his outfit choices. The outfit for the companion, like you rarely see it apart from when maybe Thin Ice, Bill wears a really nice outfit, but in the Shakespeare Code, Martha's just still rocking around in a fake leather jacket.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, Rose wears one in Unquiet Dead.
Yes. That's only because Queen Victoria complains about it. Was it Queen Victoria? No, that's Tooth and Claw. The child is so naked. I'm getting bored of nakedness.
Oh, shit. The Doctor, I never realized he had red shoes with white spats.
I have a note about the spats are amazing. The pink bow tie.
Mm-hmm.
So one parallel I noticed while we're on the fashion is when you see the opening of Mr. Ringading and the cartoon lady he's speaking to, those outfits that they're wearing parallel quite nicely to the outfits that Belinda and the Doctor end up wearing. The Doctor's wearing a suit with a bow tie. Belinda's wearing a yellow dress, and it's very similar, and the hair, everything is very similar to what the those two cartoons and what they're initially watching in the cinema before all the creepy stuff starts to happen.
Yeah. So I thought it was beautifully directed, this whole first section.
Stunning.
From the newsreel to all the people in the seats, and then up to the projectionist. The sound editing is really good. I noticed that the blues were really popping. Like whether it was shirts or coats and things. Yeah. The projectionist has this really cute sweater.
He's such a sad cat. Reginald Pye, his name is.
Reginald Pye. So they told us that it was 4 a.m. What the hell are people doing? Oh, no, it's 4 a.m. when they get there, but not when this scene.
Yes.
We don't know when it is. Sometime at night. I think that's why they're kind of startled at the end when it's daylight.
True.
Because I don't think they were conscious the whole time they were trapped.
Well, they looked. There was a moment when Belinda was looking at the film that had the stills of each of the missing 15 in there. And one of them definitely did like a slight movement. It was just like, a couple of second movement, like a GIF.
Yeah. I thought maybe it was like metaphorical, like in her head. Because if that was really how it was, they should have looked a lot more traumatized when they came out of the theater.
It's true. They mostly just looked slightly confused. It was the people outside when they, like the mum, with the words.
Mrs. Lowenstein.
How did you find the accents in this? Because for me, even to my Australian ear, I was like, that woman is clearly got an Irish accent doing an American accent just with a couple of words.
Okay. Do you know any Floridians?
No.
So Google, when we're done here, Google like Florida accents. Mm-hmm. And especially in the 50s, they probably would have been stronger because people didn't move as much. Now, I think they were Jewish. They might have had a slightly different accent. But it certainly wouldn't sound like Irish. And the diner kid, he was clearly British trying to put one on. And I think it was affecting his performance a little bit.
It's hard.
But yeah, it's hard to imitate Americans. Like,
I auditioned for a play recently where I had to do an American accent, and I was struggling so hard. I was like, can we just make this character British? Because I can do that. But I don't think that's how you get an audition. That's how you pass an audition. No.
Yeah. I don't know what the difference is. It's hard to put your finger on it.
Especially when they want a generic American, they just said general American accent. And I'm like, it would be easier for me if you'd specified an area. Like I can do a Southern. I played Blanche Dubois in my high school production.
Oh, nice.
So Southern I can do.
Is that Streetcar? Blanche Dubois?
It was a play within a play within a play. So they borrowed from lots of different famous theatre. But I did the big speech that she does about her partner committing suicide. And it's, yeah. Oh. I had to do the full thing. And I got an A, so I must have done all right.
Hell yeah. So we see this cute projectionist. There's a spoon, moonlight's bouncing off of it. Who is PR? PR enters real. Oh, Reginald Pye?
Reginald Pye, yep.
Oh, I was shortening projectionist. So goes into the real room, and I'm like, what is the organizational system here? Right? Because the labels are on the top of the reel rather than the sides. So how does he know where anything goes? I don't see him check any keys. There's no like stickers on the
no Dewey Decimal System
bookshelf. Yeah, how are they categorizing these things? I need to know this. I think in real life, they're either in like special drawers or they're up on their sides, and there's like dividers to tell you what time period they are. But they needed her to be able to sweep them all onto the ground so they'd open up and be yankable. But they are really convincing props, so maybe that was how they did it, and they just had a room somewhere with all of these film cans.
I mean, he was just the one guy running it, like, and he looked, and it from you could kind of gather that he'd been doing it for a long time. So possibly he just knows, like, I know that can's got a slight dent in it, which means at this place, which means it's this one. He just does it so often that he knows. If you're the one that organized it, then you know your particular order of things, right? Even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else.
Yeah. 1950s projectionists write in great and secret knowledge at gmail.com and tell us how they stored reels back then. I want to know how authentic this is. I tried to Google it. It didn't work. Okay, so I love all this mechanical business with the cameras. Just the clicking of knobs. I love that shit. Now, my first sort of like, what's going on here is "don't make me laugh" is a weird phrase. I think what's happening here is it's meant to be sort of unsettling even before he goes bad, you know?
Yeah.
And part of that is nothing she said should have made him laugh. So why, Sunshine Sally, I'm talking.
Oh, yeah.
So why is he saying it?
It was a stretch.
A stretch. That's what it's called. It's like writing to the moment, right? We want the moment where he goes, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't make more of it in terms of, fit it into the cartoon more.
Well, initially I thought that the making him laugh was going to be the thing that kind of makes him grow bigger, get scary. And there would be more ties into, like, between what type of evil he is and what triggers his expansion, whether that would actually be something to do with the laughter. But
okay, I'm feeling a theory coming on. What if he only says that when somebody like pisses him off or like tweaks his ego a little bit? Because she's like, you're a cartoon, and he's like, don't make me laugh.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it could be, some sort of, like some sort of Manchurian candidate, like trigger word that makes him, he's unaware.
Yes, I mean, it surely is something like that. They do a lot of repetition of phrases in Doctor Who, in the modern series at least. I'm thinking of blink.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, don't blink.
Mm-hmm.
There is a bit of that.
Sometimes it's annoying, but I think it works this time, or at least it's not too annoying.
The song is more annoying. My second watch through, I was like, oh God, I'm going to get tired of this. I'm Mr. Bring Your Team. Nah, not one for me. It's like that chicken banana song that is everywhere at the moment. It's driving me mad.
Chicken banana, chicken banana, chicken banana, 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 chicken banana.
I'm writing down chicken banana song.
Once you don't want to put that into the algorithm, it will start offering you up, like, it just goes chicken banana, and it's annoying, but it's like epic earworm. You cannot get it out of your head. 0 stars. Would not recommend.
I'm excited to find out.
I'll send you some reels.
Hey, I'm back. So I just wanted to say I really like the posters in the projectionist booth. Like, it doesn't matter, but when I was a kid, I always thought being a projectionist would be the most glamorous, exciting job.
And then I watched Fight Club and The Opportunity to Be Evil.
Oh. I only watched that the once. I can't remember a projection.
Tyler Durden was one who was splicing porn into children's films.
Oh, that naughty boy.
Fight Club.
Well, anyway, what this episode does for projectionists is it reminds us that they aren't up there just to like make sure nothing's going wrong. In the beginning, they were there to make sure it doesn't start a fire.
Yes, because we do.
It's incredible.
We get that tease real early. That film is flammable. Instantly makes me think of Inglourious Bastards, because that's exactly how they kill Hitler. Spoiler for Inglourious Bastards.
That is a fun film.
I think it's like the last good Tarantino.
Yeah, I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I thought it looked great, but nothing really stuck with me after.
That film could have been an hour shorter and been a better film. I think it's he.
I mean, yeah.
No one's telling him no now, right? Like it's the more like big name you get edited down less, and your choices are questionless. So more bad choices are made. It's less tight. Like the third season of Ted Lasso, they didn't have a time restriction on the episodes, so therefore I think the episodes weren't as tight with the jokes as the first two seasons.
Well, I am gonna say that even though I don't love Tarantino personally, like in what I have heard from him, or seen him on things, but one of my favorite films was Jackie Brown, and it was very long, like for what it is, like a zippy crime drama. But man, every frame of that like is a vibe, you know. Whereas, the later movies seem a little bloated.
My favorite Tarantino is probably Reservoir Dogs.
That's a tight little film.
That's
You're not gonna die. Nobody's fucking dying.
Good film.
Nobody's fucking dying today.
Now, I've got a question. Would you have picked that it was Alan Cummings' voice if you didn't already know?
The whole time I was like wondering, like, obviously it sounds nothing like his King James portrayal in Witchfinders. But that's really all I know him from, so I didn't have a lot to go on.
Oh, no, I've got a lot of enjoyment. I wouldn't have picked it. I definitely wouldn't have picked it. If I hadn't already seen footage of him recording prior to the episode, and then I'd been told that he was in it, it's like, not that Russell has a problem bringing back actors that have been previously used, but I definitely wouldn't have picked that it was Alan Cumming. But that's him using an American accent as well, so
it was pretty good.
It was excellent.
As accents go, yeah. Yeah, it was just a bit of East Coast.
Yep.
So my next, after the fun bit, honey, the clothes, I just wrote, gosh dang, Verada looks incredible in that dress.
50s fashion. 50s fashion.
It's just absurd. Oh, she looks like Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
That hair all in flowing up.
That dude would have taken some time.
Yeah. I want a hairdo archway. That must. How long do you think it took?
Well, it could have even been like
to make her up.
She potentially would have had to have rollers in for a good while. Like back in those days, she would have slept in her rollers with a little net over the top, and so she would have spent ages rolling each of the curls up onto a roller before going to bed with the netting on her hair, and then unfurling them in just the right way to get that perfect curl with what I imagine is, a ozone layer destroying layer of hairspray to hold it all in place.
I keep staring at it. I'm like, I wonder if they if part of it is a wig.
It's definitely a wig.
Just because, doing that every night would just be too much.
100% it's a wig.
But her hairline is normal, so I think it's like they've just sort of amplified her hair.
Also, she's got a nice lace front and a decent makeup artist. Like, anything's feasible with a wig. I've watched enough drag to know that.
It's gorgeous.
All about blending in the makeup to the wig line so you can get a decent hairline. Or she did spend... These days, they've got hot rollers that will do the same job. Like if, in 1952, it would have been a ongoing process, but these days there's tech that could get that same effect a lot quicker, I think.
Yeah, she'd have to sit up in bed with like a bonnet.
Hey, wear the bonnet. I'm an advocate for the bonnet. It's changed my life.
Hell
Anyone
yeah.
with long hair just definitely look, get the bonnet. It's awesome. I sound like the ads I get on the algorithm now, but it's true.
So they arrive, they have a theater, they've got their vortex indicator.
The Vindicator.
Or the Vindicator. Yeah. And they see Rock Hudson movies playing. Oh, were you going to talk about the Vindicator?
Yeah, I've got a theory. Vindicator, and her name's Belinda. Is this a throwback to Belle and Vinda in the Flux? Where they're trying to find each other.
Like just a little like hint, or like those actual characters are gonna.
I'm not sure yet. It's a like growing theory where I don't think they will. We've had a few little nods back to the Chibnall era, and that I was like, her name's Belinda, and it's the Vindicator. And they were trying to find each other, and the object of it is to help them find. And just could be the Doctor being punny, or I'm just making it all up.
Belle had the best voice. She had that amazing Irish accent. Was it Irish or Welsh? Was she Welsh?
Ooh, I'm trying to think of it now. Is it Northern Irish, maybe?
That's what I thought it was, but
my brain's saying Northern Irish, but I'm potentially wrong. I'd have to hear it again, and we don't need to pause while I listen to her accent from an episode we're not even covering, but
the biggest changes to our lives start small. Catastrophes creep in quietly. And by the time you realize, the life you once had is already behind you.
Just listening back, I love how upbeat and positive her voice always was, even in the midst of like the end of the universe. And then it was because she was talking to her baby.
Oh,
lovely.
And getting like little emojis from the baby through. That's pretty cool tech. Oh.
Well, yeah, I'd love to see Belle and Vinder. That'd be fantastic.
They were a lot of fun.
We see Rock Hudson in the Harvest Bringer, and the Doctor says he named himself after the Rock of Gibraltar,
which is
the Doctor
true.
had met him and he was a great guy.
I believe that's true.
It sounds true. Yeah, I don't know why they'd tell a lie, unless it like nobody knew and the Doctor made it up.
No, I think it is true, but I could be wrong.
And she mentions them covering him in their HIV course. And we find out somebody has chained up the cinema doors. And the Doctor has a hankering for a mystery.
Well, time detective that he is. But it's always the Doctor always saying, the important question is, and there's something you haven't even noticed. Just when they're about to leave. That happens in so many episodes. Like, but why is this happening? Or, Beast Below, there's a can't stand a complete platform of non-interference except when there's children crying.
Yeah. That's great.
The Doctor can't help himself. And we did get that.
So I was going to use a sound bite here. When she's like, we're supposed to leave. And he's like, and she calls him Scooby-Doo. And then he says, no, I'm Velma.
And later he calls her Fred.
Yeah.
I like that they went with Fred instead of Daphne.
Oh my God, you actually want to investigate that spooky old cinema? You're Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I could see it. She's got a bit of a Fred energy to her.
She's very direct to the point. Let's, take charge. Let's get on with it. That all fits in with the kind of Fred motif that And the Doctor absolutely would be. Velma is the greatest character.
Yes.
But imagine if she'd done Shaggy, like Velma and Shaggy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So they decide to go to the diner and have a little coffee.
Or it's a bit chiller than Montgomery in Rosa. You know, they didn't get kicked out immediately, and
yeah,
they did cover that there was segregation, but maybe didn't hit us over the head with it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about TV like this is they try to keep the cast down, and so they tend not to have a lot of extras unless it would be absolutely silly not to. And so they drop them here in the middle of the night at this 24-hour diner, and they just happen to be empty of everyone except Mrs. Lowenstein. So they don't have to have that really nasty scene that you'd probably have in real life, where they'd have to meet in the parking lot or something, you know, like.
Yeah, definitely.
But they make a nod to it later, so that's good.
He mentions that they're not supposed to be in there at all, but the guy behind the counter is like, nobody's here. It's fine. I mean, when they go to sit with her, she Mrs. Lowenstein asks the guy behind the counter, "Is it well? I'll talk to you, but if it's okay to, you know, waive the rules at this time."
Yeah. Yeah, and she's like about to be like, "This is fucked up," and he's like, "Hold on." Sometimes when I go somewhere, I wait for the people to overthrow their own government or something, and then he says, "Until then, I live in it and I shine."
Oh, I totally miss it. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
works well.
I didn't mark the time code, or I'd play it for you.
Oh my God.
Save it for later, Belinda. Right now, we are busy.
How can you say that?
I have toppled worlds. Sometimes I wait for people to topple the world. Until then, I live in it and I shine.
And yeah, the music while she's telling her story is so intense that I started crying, and I'm like, "Murray Gold, you're killing me."
Oh, he's really like, so, I'll say this a million times. He's amazing. The way it adds to the storytelling. There's a later point where it just goes silent after there's been dramatic music. Or it might have even been in the other episode, and then all of a sudden there's silence. And like using silence in that powerful way when you're so used to there just constantly being music. That the way they do that and they put that together, I don't think there'd be the level of enjoyment in the episodes if we didn't have that kind of backing soundtrack to take us on the journey. Really important.
Yeah. There's this nice moment where he says, "Well, let me tell you, Mrs. Lowenstein, hope can change the world."
No.
Well, let me tell you, hope can change the world, Mrs. Lowenstein. My name is the Doctor, and I will try to find your son.
That's the message of Doctor Who, you know?
100%. 100%. Like, I love a dramatic Doctor speech. Absolutely love a dramatic. My favorite being in the Thin Ice. Capaldi's Doctor is like about the indicator of the greatness of a society is how you treat the smallest, and just absolutely. I wish I could quote it all. It's phenomenal. Those dramatic Doctor speeches, or Vincent and the Doctor, and never in my life I've ever met anyone who wasn't important. No, that's not Vincent and the Doctor. It's that's the pile of good things and bad things, and the bad things don't necessarily cancel out the good things or make them unimportant.
We didn't make a difference at all. I wouldn't say that. The way I see it, every life is a pile of good things and bad things. Hey, the good things don't always soften the bad things, but vice versa. The bad things don't necessarily spoil the good things or make them unimportant. And we definitely added to his pile of good things.
Whew, getting misty just thinking about Vincent and the doctor.
Oh, that scene.
My goodness.
That scene. When I was in Paris, fun fact, I had a choice. I had a day to do a museum, and I skipped the Louvre just so I could go to the Musée d'Orsay and run up those stairs.
Ooh.
And be right where Amy and the doctor were.
That's so cool. I can't wait to go to the UK and get to go to those spots.
Oh, my next trip is there's a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't do on my last trip. I'm planning on going next year, and I missed Wales completely, and there's so many filming locations because the production was based out of Cardiff. I don't know, you haven't seen Torchwood, but there's like Yanto's Wall, and there's a Cyberman in a cathedral somewhere. In Wales. I'm not sure if it's in Cardiff or one of the other places, but there's just this tiny little Cyberman up high in this fancy Anglican church. And yeah, just a little Cyberman hanging out there. There's quite a few.
That's hilarious.
There's so much cool Doctor Who travel stuff you can do throughout Europe. There's actual TARDISes. There's got my list here somewhere. Oh yeah.
What are you looking through?
My journal.
Do you have a special book?
It's my journal.
Oh, it's just your journal.
Yeah, well, just the latest of all my journals. It's got my Europe planning trip. So there's Rosalie Bay. You can go to New York. There's there's loads of little Doctor Who specific places, particularly in Wales, particularly around Cardiff, because of the filming they did around there.
That's awesome. I'd also like to go to where they filmed Delta and the Bannermen. It's like some coastal place. I think it's been replaced, the buildings, but the area around it looks really nice. Have you seen Delta and the Bannermen?
No, I haven't.
That's a Sylvester McCoy and Bonnie Langford, Mel Bush.
Mel, I got it. Yeah, it'll be in one of those ones that I'm like I've seen as a kid, and then but I don't remember what belonged to what episode or specifics. There's a lot of the classic eras like that for me, unless it's ones I've gone back and watched because there's an associating podcast or something like that.
Well, I highly recommend Delta and the Bannermen. It's one of my faves. And if you're going to watch it, listen to the To Watch Who coverage of it, because they're hilarious.
Awesome.
Sarah and Mark. Let's see. Mr. Pie, the projectionist, Logan tells us that he's still there as the caretaker. And so the doctor is like, there is literally an old caretaker in a haunted cinema. And she's like, all right, Fred, or Velma.
There is literally an old caretaker in a haunted cinema.
Come on, Velma.
Okay, Fred.
It's such a cool little mystery. I feel really sorry for Reginald Pye, though. I had a lot of empathy for that character as we, find out why he's putting up with it later.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Fringe?
Seen bits of it. I think I watched maybe the first season.
Okay, there's an episode where a building is being yanked between this world and the alternate universe. There they just have the one in that show. And we find out that a woman is missing her dead husband so much that she's attracting the attention of his double in that other universe. And so the universes are wobbling together and it's destroying the building. And threatening lives or whatever. So that was about the closest comp I could come to with this. And then there's also the Kingpin in Spider-Man and the invisible magical mystery bus. What is that one called? The first cartoon. The Incredible Edible Universe.
Spider-Man scared me as a kid. So like,
Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah.
No. Into the
Spider-Verse, the movie one, yeah. He's my least favorite of all the superheroes just because the eyes used to freak me out in the cartoons from the 90s when I was a kid. Like, I just found the eyes on the Spider-Man costume spooky.
Interesting.
So I have no nostalgia because I just wouldn't watch it.
I wonder why he did that. Why he chose those big white eyes.
I mean, knowing Stan Lee, like there'll be some like in-depth meta reason for it, right? Like the Hulk's supposed to be him when he's, trying to deal with his own anger, and he's an interesting unit, Stan Lee.
Yeah. I loved Super Friends. Was it Super Friends? No. It was Spider-Man and Friends.
Oh, yeah.
It had him and Iceman and Firestorm. It was probably terrible. I haven't gone back, but I loved it when I was a kid.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to leave it alone. When you don't.
I mean, they made that whole X-Men 97 series for like nostalgic Gen Xers or millennials or whatever.
It's true. I mean, I love a nostalgic callback. We're sitting here discussing the like arguably the third incarnation of a 62-year-old TV show at this point. So, nothing wrong with a reboot with a bit of nostalgia to it. Maybe that's what's lacking in this season, because apparently this is the lowest viewed episode of Doctor Who. Whatever.
That is absurd.
Apparently, only 1.5 million. And
that can't be right. It's like one of the best episodes ever.
Right?
We got to spread the word.
We're doing it.
Folks, tell your friends and family to watch Lux. It's good. So I mentioned that because of the love story of man and his missing wife. And when they enter, they're on stage, which I thought was a really great move to have them sort of in the movie for a second.
Yes.
Which is a good like entry point, because pretty soon they're going to be in a movie and like fighting a movie character that's come to life. Like, what a weird story.
I loved that they did that though, like bringing them into the film in a practical as well as like metaphorical sense.
Yeah. I'm reminded of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
Lux has a bit of Roger in him.
Definitely, that's a good connection.
Purple Rose of Cairo, where Mia Farrow falls in love with a movie actor, and then he comes out of the screen, but he's his character. It's played by Jeff Daniels. That was really good.
I need a place to hide. Like, I'm never going back now that I've met you.
Place to hide? Place to hide?
I like that kind of I mean, even now Space Jam.
Space Jam, there you go.
Yeah, Roger Bugs Bunny pulls Michael Jordan down through a golf hole. It's a good time.
Good deal. Let's see. I've got a soundbite here.
Mr. Pye? Logan from the diner told us your name. I'm Belinda, and this is the doctor.
Really? Just the doctor, always?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
She's got good comedic timing.
Yeah, I'm sold on Belinda. You're gonna I know how you feel about Ruby, but
Oh, I love her.
I never engaged with her on the level, like in the entirety of that season. I kept waiting to kind of love her, and I never did. I don't hate her. She's not like, I'm not anti-Ruby, but I don't love her. She's not high on my list of favorite companions, whereas Verada Setu, like Belinda, I'm on board. She's shooting up the list real fast in my top companions.
Yeah, I mean, she's impossible to ignore. We've already talked about how she's a mature, grown-up lady with her own opinions and ideas. Like, she's not deferring to the doctor. I mean, I just said she's like ridiculous, whereas Ruby would have been the doctor. That's cool.
Yeah, I'll just go with that.
No last name? Fun.
Yeah, exactly. Just agreeing with it all rather than the Belinda just questions everything and has her own thoughts and her own feelings and isn't shy about expressing them. And Verada Setu is just such an incredible actor. Like when they're going through the frames, if you look, each frame she has a different look on her face. So they're not just repeating the footage. It's each pull down, she's got a different look on her face, and that is beautiful detail. Who directed this one? The direction in this was
that's
just
a great question.
I meant to Google it before we started.
Tip top.
And
here we go. Director Amanda Bracci.
Oh, she's done I think she's Australian.
She's known for Gentleman Jack, which I think
I love Gentleman Jack. It's Suran Jones. It's about an actual historical figure who is considered to have been the first lesbian wedding, because she inherited property in it was the Edwardian or Victorian era, but she would go around, Anne Lister, she would go around town with dresses that were cut in a certain way to look like male fashion. She would meet male aesthetic, wearing a vest. She'd have the curls by her ears and then wearing a top hat and upsetting everybody. And a Gentleman Jack was a slur for a lesbian at the time. And she was known to be corrupting local women, but there's actually now a rainbow plaque at the church where she and her final partner, they took the sacrament together, which is the closest they could do to getting married. And that show is just great theme song, great show. Wish there'd been more than 2 seasons. It was really good. And she's a great historical figure. Wow. Anne Lister.
So Bracci has won Augies or been nominated for Augies, ACTA Awards, the AFI Awards, won for Best Short Fiction Film. She won in 1999 for something called Break Enter. She did Lowdown, This Is Littleton. Yeah, I got to check her out.
The Letdown is hilarious. That is a really good, funny TV show.
Looks like it's just a 2-episode show.
2 seasons.
Right? 2 seasons.
But there's short seasons, and it came off it was just a video, like a 5-minute internet video, and it grew into, or it was done for a short film, something like that. It was originally just a short, and then they expanded it out, and it's just about new parents, and it's very, very, very funny.
Oh. Interesting. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, she got great performances out of her characters, which is half of a director's job. And then set, art, whatever. She put it all into a cohesive whole.
The framing choices that she makes, where it's just the camera placement to have a little corner of something sticking in, and it really gives a good sense of levels in the screen for it to be out. There's some really good frame choices that she's made throughout the episode that just made me just go, ooh, that's very nice. I like this. pleasing aesthetic to my eyes, and the way that they've blocked everything out. It's very cool.
Yeah, and by making most of it so pleasing, when we get Mr. Ring-a-Ding doing something fucked up, I noticed that it's always like at an odd angle. Like when he comes out of the screen in the beginning, it's like not quite centered. You know, like a normal director might have it just come right at us. And there it's like, it's just not quite right. Like in the scene where he comes out now and like dealing with the two of them, he's like pointing off in one direction and it's like head's wobbling the other. His hat's like not even on his head. God, he's so scary and upsetting. And then he does that awful laugh.
That absolute, like, total creep. And he has like creepy energy, but with that like smile of the, like that plastered on almost fake smile that I associate so much with cartoons made in that era. Very, very cool. Some great choices.
So I love how the doctor's game for everything, right? And he's just like, oh, new life form. This is fascinating. But when the guy's like, I'm the only one of me in the world, and he starts crying, and I think the doctor's like, oh, he's putting on a show now. And the soundtrack kicks on, and she's like, oh, you have a soundtrack. He has his own soundtrack.
Very good.
I think he realizes, oh, this is more than just a cartoon being. This is something beyond. Because all of a sudden he's just like, 15 people went missing, you know?
And with all the gods that have been, this whole pantheon that they're working with at the moment, I even wrote them all down. The god of games, the toy maker, god of music, god of death, god of light. It's where I do always love it when we see the Doctor afraid.
Yes. When he goes, Belinda, get back.
Yeah, go back to the TARDIS.
Get back. Get away from him.
No, what we're doing.
He almost falls down the stairs. He's going so fast backwards.
And he has a similar reaction in the giggle when the toy maker turns up. He says like immediately, go, get back to the TARDIS now. Go, go, go. Because he knows what he's dealing with.
Yeah, some fans complained that the Doctor was too scared last season. But it's like the Doctor's normally dealing with the smartest, deadliest beings in the physical universe. But every time he's fucked with one of these white guardians or black guardians or Omega or whatever, it's like he is very ginger because, it could just, if it got mad, make your head explode or whatever. Like,
it can,
you know, you got to be real careful.
And I like it. I like to see it. I really like it when we see the Doctor unsettled because he's so confident facing everything else. Like, so, like, the moment, the Pandorica where it's like all of the bad guys are there and he's still like, nah, come at me. It's all good. Whereas these gods.
And especially he can't protect his friends from these things. So I think that's why his first instinct immediately is to be like, Belinda, get back.
He's very protective of Belinda, I've noticed, more so than some other companions at different points. This is consistent, certainly across the episodes I've watched so far. It's very, no, not Belinda. No, say Belinda. Belinda, just let her go. I'll deal with you. Let her go. And that I'm noticing is a real pattern.
Yeah, I'd like to go back and see the first season to see how common that was, or if something has made him want to. Oh, I guess Sasha 55 dying.
Yeah,
maybe.
That could actually. That's a really good point. She was going to go traveling with him, and it's while that's happened before. It's the first time it's really happened to this Doctor.
Yes.
even things ended well for Anita.
Yeah. Well, and what's her name? Nicola Coughlan wanted to be a star, I guess.
Yeah.
And he didn't really know her, so it wasn't.
Yeah, so he went the long way around.
The same. So then we get up to the projectionist and he explains his deal. He said he brought her back. And then he goes, don't try to tell me she's not real. If that thing is real, then so is she. And the doc is like, okay, this guy's got it bad. And then he's talking to Belinda and he explains how dangerous these gods are. And then she sees the 15 missing people trapped on the film. And you mentioned earlier that scene where like we see Tommy Lee like, "Ah!" and she gets all spooked. Lux rolls in, bobbing a little fireball. And that's when he mentions the explosive celluloid.
Yes. Yeah.
He's got his Roger Rabbit bounce going. And he's just so dastardly. That's when he mentions how the doctor took out the 3 other gods. And the doctor says, you have to tell me how I can stop you. Belinda's like, he's not going to do that. And he's like, nope, he has to.
Yeah, is that I haven't noticed that with the others, like maybe the toy maker, but the doctor already knew what the rules with the toy maker were, but did that happen with Maestro?
I don't remember him asking the Maestro, what's the deal? What are the stakes? How do I beat you?
No.
And the other one was Sutek. That was sort of a long...
long.
A fast exposition scene. A lot of people were dying during.
It's true.
Or right after. And then, yeah, he's like, do it, ladies. And the film cameras spin around and send them into the film.
They were so cute as cartoons.
Yeah. They're so cute. It had I had a comp for it. It was the Star Trek, the animated series. When they first arrive, it's like super basic.
I forgot there was an animated series. It's all kinds of weird, like the Brady Bunch Variety Hour and all of those kind of weird spin-offs that don't seem to fit the lore of the thing we're watching.
Totally. Yeah, they cut down an hour or 45-minute episodes down to 20 minutes. And they were too cheap to have every character you see on screen be its own cells. So they would just basically everybody had the same body as Scotty and like, I don't know, it's just a lot of corner cutting. Every other planet had flying dragon monsters that flew by. It was great. So yeah, they find out emotions help them like get depth and flesh out.
What did you think of that?
I thought it was great. I love any time they kind of show that it's okay for people to have emotions, you know, especially in the context of what we said last week about all the haters saying the doctor shouldn't cry.
That's true.
But like kids are being shown that part of what makes us human is being open and vulnerable with our emotions. I think it's great.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And it gives us an excuse for the doctor to share his pain with Belinda, because the more she knows about him, the more likely she'll want to stay friends, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a point with these doctors of going like, and what point do they make the companion aware that Gallifrey isn't an option for them to go visit? Because she's not the first companion to be like, let's go to your planet. I reckon that came up with Ryan, Yaz, and Graham. And it certainly came up with Martha. Martha asked to go to his planet. then they brought Gallifrey back for a bit, and then they got rid of it again. What is the modern era without Gallifrey being destroyed, though?
Okay, so in the books, Gallifrey was destroyed once or twice as well. There was one time during the 8th Doctor. And so, yeah, Gallifrey's been destroyed 3 or 4 times. I think it still exists now as a planet. It's just the Master killed everyone on it. Is that right?
I think so. It like the Doctor was still able to go back there, and she could see that, like, there was just Arcadia or one of the other major cities had just absolutely been decimated and was burning.
Yeah.
Whereas it was during the Time War, it was blinked out of existence completely, which later we found out it's in a pocket universe.
Yes. Indeed.
Or does it? No, it gets moved to the pocket universe again because it gets brought back in the Last of the Time Lords episodes, I think.
Last of the Time Lords, yeah.
They bring it back through with amazing Rassilon.
Timothy Dalton as Rassilon.
Terrifying. So good. But then, so I think it was destroyed.
Oh, especially because through all of Who, we're led to believe that he was this benevolent force that, like, you know, made Time Lordism possible. And then he turns out to be a total piece of shit.
You mean the president of somewhere turning out to be a total piece of shit? I can't imagine where they've conjured that kind of, like, fantastical imagery from.
Who knew? So, yeah, you mentioned Doc and Bell yanking the frames. During that sequence, the music is so cool. It's like takes a totally different kind of tack. And it reminded me of John Williams or Jerry Goldsmith, who did Star Trek. But it kind of like felt like in between Star Trek movie and Indiana Jones. Yeah, it was a really nice little bit. I might drop some of that in there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And we get fucked up! Oh my god, we're back.
And then all of a sudden we get the scene that we expect to see in 1952, which is a cop and like a false accusation, and the cop pulls his gun. But because it's Doctor Who, and to presumably to speed up the process and make it less traumatizing, it turns out to be a fake creature or whatever. Like, what are we calling these fake people? Projections?
Yeah, projections is good. Like they're still in the film. I do love that kind of red herring drop where and I just enjoy this as a trope. Even Belinda says, she's like, I hate it when they do that.
We're still inside a bloody film. I hate it when they do that.
Wait.
And then you realize you're still in there.
I love that. Anytime they have a little meta. Yeah, Bill would have been like, "Oi, this is Inception."
Yeah. Oh, so good. Yeah, they're pulling the frames as well.
Yeah, we're still inside a bloody film. I hate it when they do that. And this is where I wrote, oh my God, this is so amazing, because right after they escape the cop, they go through the screen into our living room.
I have this written in capital letters with like 4 exclamation points. Best bit. We should have known though that, and I do remember thinking this on my first watch through. When the glass breaks and falls forward, we should know that it's not they're still in there, really, because cinemas don't have glass on the screen. It's projected onto it's like a material. Whereas because they push forward and the glass falls out, it's a TV. We hear the glass smash.
I didn't really think about it. There is the gate so the projectionist can see down onto the film, but that wasn't what this was. This was a TV screen.
This is possibly one of my all-time favorite moments in Doctor Who ever. It is my first reaction, even in the moment, the first time, like, I just feel so seen as a massive Whovian who knows way more about it than most people have any interest of hearing. And they Liz, what was her name? I remember Lizzie. Is it Rudrash?
Robin, and I can't remember the guy's name.
It's a South Asian.
Let me pull this up again.
Asheen or something like that.
I'm scrolling down the list here. Lizzie Hassan.
Yeah, there you go.
Just adorable, all three of them. There's a ton of Easter eggs in their apartment too, like not just their outfits.
I've noted a couple,
but like there's angels on her pillow.
Her mug says, "Lizzie, don't blink."
Yes. There's a dot and bubble slug thing on a poster.
Oh, cool. I have to go back and just watch that scene over and over again. You know what it's like? It's like the memory TARDIS.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Russell brought in some of his Doctor Who books to put on the bookshelf. Like,
you got the right guy.
I don't know. I couldn't see any specifics, but yeah. She mentions Galaxy Quest. Oh, so cute. And then they hug. Oh.
And you've got the hater one on the end. She's, like, hashtag RIP Doctor Who.
Okay, we should stop down for a second to talk about that. I don't remember seeing any sort of similar hashtag on the internet.
I've seen it. It's in...
Okay.
I tend to stick with the more positive... There's positive Facebook groups. Like, one of my favorites is Doctor Who, a page for fans who actually like the show.
Well, but it's the penultimate episode is when it's supposed to end, right? So I think that's when maybe they defeat Mrs. Flood or something, or like, and the last episode is everything coming back to normal.
I'm not convinced Mrs. Flood is evil yet. I'm not convinced.
Oh, interesting.
I'm getting more and more convinced that she's got her own agenda, but it's not necessarily the same as against the she's obviously trying to manipulate, like there's manipulation of the Doctor and where the Doctor goes into the Doctor's timeline, but I'm not sure she's there for she's the big bad. Like, I think she could be manipulating the Doctor to get him in the right place to get a positive result is just as feasible as it is, and maybe she's just using whatever powers she's got to watch over and ensure he's pointed in the right direction. She got dusted by Sutekh, same as everyone, right?
Yes, that was why I initially thought she couldn't be a god.
She keeps turning up in the same way Susan Twisted, though.
Or maybe she creates the physical body whenever she needs it. But it's not her. So when Flood dissolved at the end of that episode, maybe.
And she did say good, clever boy.
She still existed.
My favorite, one of my biggest teasers on that was she did say, when they brought him back from being the dusting, she's like, "Oh, that's my clever boy," or something like along those lines, which, so, one of the theories getting around is, of course, that she's potentially even Clara.
Yeah.
Clara's still out there.
So they don't answer them like how specifically they defeat Lux. And so she goes, "Oh my God, you're so annoying." And the way Lizzie smiles as she says, "We get that," or "I get that."
We know we're annoying. We know.
God, you're so annoying.
Lots of people say that. But we don't care.
Yes, lots of people say that. Oh, my God. And the music. Murray Gold is killing me once again.
I cried. I absolutely cried. There's so many other little bits as well. Like, I want Hassan's unit hoodie. Like, where can I buy that? That's amazing. I want one. The moment with Blink where he's like going through, he's like, oh, but what about the one with the goblins? Blink. But what about the one Blink? But it's always the first episode I show to people when it's when they're uninitiated. You just want a bit of a, dip your toe in. It's in my nose. Yes,
Time's
Blink.
not a linear construct.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more of a
big
wibbly wobbly.
Big ball of wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
Yeah, that's the one.
Captures what the show is, and everything about these characters. Like I love the just a nod to all of us out there who really, really love the show. Probably loved the show to what some people might consider unhealthy degree. I certainly don't.
But the show is too healthy for it to be unhealthy.
Yeah, it's wholesome.
It's wholesome. It's hopeful. It's loving. I mean, I think that's why them hugging near the start of the scene is so key, because it's like exactly what we would want to do if we ran into the doc and Martha or Belinda or whoever, like,
oh, you would.
Let's hug it out.
And Shooty's doctor is probably more of a hugger than any other doctor, so it fits.
Oh, yes. That's a good point. Yeah, trying to hug Chris Eccleston.
Or Peter Capaldi.
Seems a little scary. Woo.
Yeah, they've got a lot harder edges, like Sylvester McCoy. You gonna hug Sylvester McCoy? No.
If I was happy enough, I might pick him up and do that hug spin. I feel like I've seen him hug once or twice.
Yeah.
So then Lizzie's sad because she admits they're going to die. And there's this beautiful farewell.
In my notes, it just says, crying, 2 exclamation points, fucking Russell. He gets me every time. Another note, does Russell have a conscience?
Oh, certainly not.
No.
Couldn't possibly.
The more emotionally attached you get with a character, the more you worried you become for their very existence in the show. And I was instantly connected with these 3. I love them. Some different people, but we can see ourselves in them, and I think it's just beautiful.
Okay, so it doesn't matter, but there's a poster over Shooty's shoulder as they're getting ready to leave the apartment, and it's got the color scheme and lines of the Flux poster, and I desperately want to know if that's what it is. I dropped it in the chat, and it's just so fuzzy.
Oh, it does look like a Flux poster, or like the certainly Jodie era kind of. Yeah, I think it might be.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let us know, listener. It's about 31:30.
Yeah, definitely. She's when you realize that they're like, we're okay with it. We don't have last names.
We don't matter. Oh God.
My heart.
Oof. And she said, yeah, think of us from time to time. It'll keep us alive or something.
Yeah.
And I wrote, OMG, those poor Who fans. I'm weeping so hard.
And then I legitimately cried. I felt so sorry for them.
And they hug and cry it out together in the white space.
Yeah. But it gives them the information they need. And you think you're like, oh, this is the moment where the burning film comes in, because they're keeping it still and preventing it from scrolling further. And you're like, oh yeah, that's how the burning film factor comes into it. But we get it again later.
Yeah, this is just a little taste, a little amuse-bouche.
Yes.
Oh, but they don't just tell them how to win, but they give them the inspiration and the heart. Like, she basically says, it's because of them that I feel compelled to do the right thing and beat the bad guy. So it gives us a little good feeling, you know, as Who fans. Like, we're a part of it.
Yeah, it's also a bit of a bootstrap paradox, but I'll allow it.
So the way he proves that was real, or that they're back in the real world, is because his hand is burned. And so he saved a little regeneration energy and heals up. Oh, the burning of the stock was incredible. Beautiful effect.
Yeah, really well done.
It looks really awesome. And then they fall down and he shows him his regeneration. And boy, howdy, Lux was waiting, just looking for light. And there's some light. And he's like, oh, yeah, I want that shit. And yeah, so I felt a lot of terror as he gets yanked by the film reel.
Oh, so there was a similarity there that I noted between the film strips work quite similarly to the maestro's notes, that when it pulled him into the drum in The Devil's Chord, and it kind of like, it ties them together in they're both gods in this pantheon, but the fact that the film strips acted very similarly to like the notes and stave that pulled the Doctor into the drum and tied up Ruby, it was kind of a bit of a flip on that.
Yeah.
It also teaches, first of all, Belinda a bit about regeneration. And also that obviously Lux, it picks up that Doctor Who's regenerate using light.
That scoundrel gets a new motivation. If he gets a body, he can go out into the world, which should have tipped the Doctor off to, what does it need with a body? It's a light being. But I think the fact that it said, I want to go get atomic bombs and become uber powerful, I think maybe drew our attention and maybe the Doctor's attention to that threat and sort of missed the point that, like, you know, why does it need a body if it can walk around? Let's see. The part I wanted to soundbite is, I've seen it, the most savage light of all, the glow of the atom.
Trapped in the dark, but the great out there holds such promise. I've seen it, the most savage light of all, the glow of the atom. Ah! Think of all the fun I will have. The blossom of nuclear light unfurling all over this tiny little world.
And now we see why it's in 1952.
Right. Oh, yes.
Because that's right around that time.
What was your relationship with the atom bomb? Cold War.
I have never remembered being so afraid of a concept as I was of nuclear power. I mean, I'm quite a pacifist as it is, but that kind of level of, it's not just the weaponry and the damage it can do, but it's the long-term damage to the area and a nuclear winter and nuclear fallout, particularly because they were dropped in, you know, more in a region that I live in. That part of it is the bit that unsettled me the most. We didn't really have, I wouldn't think, like, it's obviously the Cold War being between Russia and, like in the 80s, it wasn't as much of a thing down here. But I had a real healthy fear of nuclear winter and the long-term damage that should it get to that point where nuclear weaponry is being used, and it still to this day just makes me uncomfortable. But it's the, I guess, the more widespread effects and the damage to humanity and all life on Earth. And that could just be from, that's the likelihood of it affecting the country. I mean, if the US and Russia had gone in on each other at that point.
Isn't there a famous movie set in Australia where like there's a submarine, Gregory Peck's in it, on the beach, maybe?
Ooh.
Anyway, it's about like what it would be like right after World War III broke out. When I was a kid, the one that stuck with me the most was, other than my parents talking about their fear, like constant throughout the 20th century, but it was a book called The Day After.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
It was so upsetting as like a 10-year-old to read that shit. The other touchstone I have is a famous episode of Twin Peaks: The Return, episode 8, in which we zoom in on the first nuclear explosion in White Sands or whatever, and it just sits with it for a long time. And like, so you're just forced to reckon with it, and like you can't help but think about how many people were killed and like maimed and their genetics fucked with and like all that stuff in Japan.
Well, I very much remember doing like history study and like the shadow images in Hiroshima and Nagasaki where people were literally vaporized, and the shadow of them getting vaporized is still visible on the wall. That kind of really makes it like I also think of like my mom's favorite movie was Empire of the Sun, Steven Spielberg film with a super young Christian Bale and John Malkovich. Amazing film. But even bits towards the end of that where even though that's set in China, he sees the light from the nuclear bomb dropping, and then later you kind of see this like greenage around his eyes, and I remember watching that and going, oh my God, he's just going to die from radiation poisoning. He was too close to that. That's like what that long-term, can't help but think of that long-term impact again. That's in some ways so much scarier, like living with that kind of radiation poisoning.
That was a Steven Spielberg directed film.
It sure was. One of his, he loves a World War II film, and people bang on about Schindler's List, which is great. But I think Empire of the Sun is just a better film. I've read the book. The book's amazing.
Ooh.
For anyone who hasn't seen it, it's really, 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 it gets looked over a lot. And John Malkovich in that is... There aren't words. And Christian Bale, as a 13-year-old kid, I think it was his first film, because he's got the introducing credit.
I love that. Yeah, I loved that movie when I was a kid. We watched it on video disc. It was like the precursor to Laserdisc.
Oh, wow. I've not even heard of that.
Yeah, it was like, came out right before the VHS, I think. It was like my dad was always buying a thing that became obsolete. It was like Beta, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was like a few years before.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's see. The Savage Light of the Atom. So this is when I was like, is this really how film reels are stored? She goes in and starts yanking them down, piling up the film. And Lux is getting all video gamey as he gets the Doctor's regeneration power.
Well, it reminded
He's starting
me...
to get those like 3D lines.
Reminded me of the Simpsons 3D app is the note I have. When Homer goes into like 3D world and it's all those lines, and then he comes through that hole into the actual like live action world, but that just reminded me so much of the Simpsons 3D episode. That was such a big deal when that came out. I remember that being advertised for ages.
What's going on here? I'm so bulgy.
Wow. So, Pi sees his wife. She gives him the matches.
Oh, my heart.
Oh, I wondered if Lux would get 2 hearts or if he'll have no heart. Like, what, you know? Is he just taking the energy or is he going to replicate the doctor's whole biology?
I thought the energy, but we did see the like X-ray kind of image of the doctor with both hearts beating there, and that's the second time we've been shown that this season.
That was intense. Yeah,
like an X-ray of the doctor's body.
That was heavy.
I don't understand why when he got really big he went 2D again though, because he got all scary and dark. But once he got to a certain size, he went 2D again.
So here's the deal. He wasn't done finishing the body, right? Because the process was interrupted by the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think what happened is he was like getting really excited and using up too much of his own store of energy. He was getting all jazzed, you know? So he needed all of the doctors, not just half of it. And then the light up comes in. And it takes over the whole process, and whatever body he had created just sort of like, you know, crumbles into dust and he becomes light once again. That was my theory.
That makes sense. I'll take that headcanon.
Yeah. So, yeah, Pi sets the explosion. And I guess he survives.
Does he?
I was surprised that Russell would like let him survive.
I assumed he died. Because he said to his wife said to him when she handed him the matches, "Come find me."
Yeah.
So I assumed he died. I don't remember seeing him come out of the theater. But he probably knows I was... Did we see him come out of the theater after they've defeated Lux?
I don't think so.
I think he died in the explosion.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess he was the only one up there near the booth. That makes sense.
When he sent Belinda away, because Belinda was going to do it, and he's like, "No, I'll sacrifice myself."
Interesting. Okay. All right. So it blows up. He's growing. They run outside. Logan, the diner guy, is like, "What the flip is that?" And I don't know where that slang came from. I've never heard that before.
Haven't you? I've absolutely heard flip.
What the flip is
flipping,
that?
Like in lieu of the proper F word.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah. What the mother flipper?
Yeah.
You know, Flight of the Conchords.
Yes.
What's the flippin'? Maybe I'll drop that in here just for funsies.
Why not?
I'm the mother flippin'.
I'm the mother flippin'.
I'm the mother flippin'.
Mother flippin'.
So the guy is growing. He's floating out into space.
Of creation. I am everything. And I am nothing. Goodbye.
I am everything. And he's getting all teary-eyed. And so I wanted to drop in this great moment from Star Trek Lower Decks.
It's happening! I'm everywhere and nowhere! I can see everything! I'm turning into pure energy! Why is it taking so long? I see him rambling again! The universe is balanced on the back of a giant koala! Why is he smiling? What is he saying?
All right. Well, good luck being everything. Sorry I helped.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was from Star Trek's Lower Decks, Season 1, Episode 4, Moist Vessel. And yeah, that was what that reminded me of. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Checks out.
Let's see. So I had a thought, which was, if he couldn't actually go outside, then the threat of nuclear destruction wasn't really a threat, right? Or did it only become a threat once he found out he could make a body?
I think his goal was to make a body so he could get it, because obviously through all the films and stuff like that he's seen, that's why we had all the flashes of mushroom cloud and whatnot. I think he needed to become more than just light to exist, but he would still grow from the light. But I think the body thing was more because he was getting the light from the regeneration energy. Like, that was a quick, oh, well, now I can do this and then I can go and get all the things I want, rather than having good old Reginald Pye just play the movie over and over again. And he was obviously shrinking back down because he got so big in the beginning when the moonlight came in. But then
it's like he burned through his store of moonlight,
because he complains. He says, "Oh, why am I not?" When he's like puffing his way up the stairs, slowest chase ever, I think Belinda says. Because he's gone back down to small, and he's not gotten the energy. Because maybe he got the energy from the 15, or was it from the moonlight that he became so big in the beginning? And if you got that big off one reflected ray of moonlight, it makes sense that the sun would make things absolutely insane.
Yeah. So then they all come outside. Everybody's excited that the people are back. He did say that thing about, like, if you find out where they went, maybe I'll go away or they'll come back.
Oh, yeah.
Lux said in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
So that seems to have been what happened. And everybody's being reunited, Tommy Lee and Mom. And then, what's her name? Belinda is saying something about those things we said when we were scared. They're still true. Does she mean about Gallifrey?
I took it to mean, like, you know, the fears they've got, their fears and everything are still real. Even when they've confronted them, they're still real, and that they should, it's just kind of like a be kind to each other, make sure we're, that was my take on it anyway, that it wasn't Gallifrey specific, like, because that's obviously just a fact, rather than the emotional, and it's okay to live with your fears.
He was worried that he wouldn't be able to help her.
Yes.
And, like, because something's wrong in the future and they can't fix
May
it.
24th.
Man. And the last thing that happens is Mrs. Flood comes up to some of the people and she's like, you better watch this. It's going to be a great show.
It's got a limited run.
Yeah, if you want to see a good show, darling, I can recommend this one. It's a limited run. And TARDIS disappears. They're like, how did that happen? And she says, trick of the light.
I wonder if Lux will come back, because essentially unlike with Maestro Sutek or the Toymaker, the Doctor defeated him by giving him what he wanted.
Interesting.
And so I wonder if the Lux will come back as an entity to help the Doctor in some way, maybe against whatever the ultimate big bad turns out to be. Because he's essentially like, he was kind of floating away giving, like, you know, thank you, Doctor. You've given me the peace that I wanted.
I like that.
Maybe he'll come back as a bit of a turncoat and help.
Yeah, good message for the kids. You know, if you do something good, even for bad people, they might turn around.
Yeah, it can have a good effect.
Help you later.
You never know. Which is very the Doctor.
I like
It's
that.
like there's certainly other instances where the Doctor's choices, and usually the choice to be kind, really can win over some of the bad guys. Like even like Blonde Fell Foch de Slitheen in Boomtown, where he chooses instead of, like, it was the family that was messed up, not all Raxacoricophalabatorians. So he took the egg back and just put it in another nest and gave her a second chance.
Yeah, wild. And then, of course, during the credits, we hear our Doctor Who fan friends. They're still alive. We cut over to them, and they're talking about the episode that we just watched.
Imagine if they were... I was about to say, imagine if they were podcasting about it.
Give us podcasters next season.
Yes, please. I was so happy. Like I had faith, but then also, like, again, Russell doesn't have a conscience, so he's written, like, he's killed some properly amazing characters, properly dead. I'm just glad we got these guys, and I hope I'd love to see just them, like, doing a little 2-minute commentary on the end of each episode, just going, oh, this is what I thought of this. Or podcasting.
Oh, that's a great point. So, in terms of predictions, let's put that shrimp on the Barbie. We can't predict anything from The Well because we both just watched it.
Nope.
But what about for the rest of the season?
I've been trying so hard to restrain myself from not. There's so many little things that I wanted to mention from The Well, and I'm like, no, save that for the next episode.
I'm sure our listeners that are listening along appreciate it. But yeah, don't worry, folks. The first 3 episodes of season 2 are all bangers, so you have a lot to look forward to.
There's such great content.
Yeah, any predictions?
I'm leaning more and more towards Mrs. Flood isn't evil.
Okay.
She's surely someone we know. I think she's definitely more just trying to assist in making sure that the Doctor is heading in the right direction to do whatever it is he needs to do to prevent or resolve the events of May 24th, 2005. I think said Lux. I could see Lux coming back. I'd love a little, like, nod to with the Whovians. The only other kind of time we see ourselves in the show, other than that, is probably Osgood.
Yes. Yeah. A straight up fan of the Doctor.
Yeah. All the different little outfits.
Oh, and Love and Monsters.
Oh, yeah, of course. And and Love and Monsters. Because that was
Clive.
Oh, and
although Clive's afraid of the Doctor.
And the Doctor brings death in his wake. I like Clive.
Yeah, listener, if I haven't dropped it already, check out our coverage with AJ Generos of Shattered Worlds RPG in Christmastide, Ohio, where we cover Rose, the first episode of the new series.
That was a lot of fun.
Okay. Just wanted to get that plug in there.
Absolutely. Definitely go listen to that. It's a good place to start. If you've never watched Doctor Who and you're a bit confused by what we've been talking about, if you've made it this far into you've never watched Doctor Who, impressive. But Rose is my recommended jumping off point, I think, if you're going to give it a crack. My friend, the lovely Jodie, who was staying with me, who I'd been just dropping random episodes on to just kind of ease her in, starting with Blink, has now gone back to Rose. And
That's
all of
exciting.
her own accord. I'm so proud.
That's the best. Now, I have been meaning to ask you on our first episode, what episodes did you show her other than Blink?
Yep.
To try to introduce her to the show.
I showed her Rosa, because I wanted to show her the female doctor. We watched The Witchfinders because we both love like witchy stuff. So I thought that was a really good. And Vincent and the Doctor. We watched Vincent and the Doctor. Usually Blink and Vincent and the Doctor are my go-tos, like my ex, when I would just show him random ones. But he's a real horror fan, so I showed him Blink, Vincent and the Doctor, and then I showed him Midnight and The Empty Child.
Cool.
So going through
some bangers right there. Did you watch The Doctor Dances as well?
Yes. I mean, yeah. Oh, wait, of course. Any of the two-parters, I tend to mention the first one first, but I always mean both of them. And that's one of the best. Was that Moffat written as well? I think it was.
Yes. Yeah. Was that the first Moffat episode?
I think so. He used to just kind of do one, and he got a two-parter there.
Now, if we were going to get a Capaldi in there, I would vote for Thin Ice. I think that's a really nice episode.
That was going to be my Capaldi episode to show her before. Like, she did, then she tapped. She's like, I was like, do you want more? Should we just watch something else for a little while? She's like, yeah, we'll watch something else for a little while. And I'm like, fair enough. I don't want to force it on you. But yeah, the next one I was going to show her was actually going to be Thin Ice. Because I think it really kind of captures what the dog's about. And Bill is one of my favorite companions, severely underrated.
Oh, she's amazing.
I love her ending is the most tragic.
She's kind of a Doctor Who fan. Right? Like she hears about this lecturer that's super good and she sits in on the class and just loves the hell out of his whole deal. And then she loves sci-fi, so she has all these references. Oh.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's season 11 if you want to dip in there. Wrong, Jeff. It's season 10.
That's a good place as well. I think it's a good, like, clean start to the season with a new, because it's just post. We don't know who's in the vault. Like, it sets up the mystery of the vault. The Doctor is living somewhere separate. Like, he's obviously gone through some time processing about the loss of Clara and kind of is starting over again. But it's a really nice, clean line considering it's a mid-Doctor beginning of a season. Like, there's no... You could jump in there, I reckon.
Yeah.
And there's a few really good, like, standalone. The one with Bill and the housemates and the in that weird house.
Flatline.
Is that Flatline? Or was it
with the wood, with the 2D creatures?
I thought Flatline was the painted 2D creatures with Clara.
Oh, what am I thinking of? Oh, the wood beasts with with Poirot, the old Poirot guy. What's his name? Suchet?
Yes, and with his little tuning fork and using the sound and like Bill having her own. The Doctor helping her move house with the TARDIS was so good.
Is it Knock?
Yes, because they knock on the wall.
Oh, knock.
Knock.
2 knocks.
That Bill season, it's heartbreaking, and the reveal at the end, I didn't see that coming. With he was so well made up, and using that different voice, and I had no idea. I'd not had the room. There was no rumor. I'd not heard anything. So when that reveal happens, I lost my mind. So good. But so tragic ending. Such a tragic ending for poor old Bill. Poor old Bill.
Oh, poor old Bill, indeed.
She did it rough.
Well, folks, I hope you're enjoying our coverage. Stay tuned for next week. It's episode 3, The Well. We'd love to hear from you. Send us an email, greatandsecretknowledge@gmail.com. I'm on all your socials at El Jefe Tacoma. Jessie, how should they find you?
I'm on almost all the socials at Cosmic Cowgirl, Kosmiccowgirl.
Hell yeah. And, I skipped recommendations. Do you have anything you want to share?
I would like to shout out to a couple of my favorite. I mean, I've mentioned them before, but Adam Richard Has a Theory, Flight Through Entirety, The Second Great and Bountiful Human Empire, that whole... It's just some really good podcasting on Doctor Who.
Nathan Bottomley from Flight Through Entirety and those others also does the Untitled Star Trek project with Joe Ford from Hamster with a Blunt Pen Knife, and I love that show. I've got a couple episodes backed up. I might watch those later. They're doing a Deep Space Nine episode.
And any other non-Doctor Who podcast recommendations, I would also call out Cool People Who Did Cool Stuff, which is a spin-off of Behind the Bastards. Both of those are amazing podcasts that I listen to very regularly.
I've been doing so many of these. I'm running out of recs. Let me see if I've... Oh, the new Will Wheaton podcast is really lovely. He's reading short fiction from like lesser known, what do you call it? Lesser known writers of short fiction, and he reads them kind of like LeVar Burton had a podcast, LeVar Reads. So it's like that. I'm trying to it's Story Time with Will Wheaton. So check that out.
Cute.
And I mentioned them earlier to Watch Who. They watch Who from all the way back in the beginning. Classic Who with An Unearthly Child from 1963. And they did all of Classic. They did the Wilderness Years, a few things from there, including the TV movie. And then now they're on to the new series. And that's a funny show. It's one person who knows the show backward and forward, and one person who had never seen any of it. And it's been fun watching the like evolution of her understanding of Who. But yeah, that's good. Anything else? Anything else in your notes we didn't get to?
No, I think we hit it. We hit it all. The IMDb is really poor for this episode, I will say, because I went looking for
new.
Yeah, but just even the characters, like you could at least have all the cast there. Like I really struggled to find specifics, but then I guess when I think about it, like if they're only putting the speaking roles on there and...
Oh, I never asked. Did you recognize any of these actors other than Alan Cumming?
The guy from Reginald Pye, he's in My Policeman, which is the movie with Harry Styles. That's a great, sad but brilliant film about queer relationships in this kind of era, actually. Really, really. Oh. I love Harry Styles as I love Harry Styles. My moment, I was never a One Direction fan because I was like, no, I'm too old, they're too young. And then I saw Harry Styles in Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk, and I was like, all right, I get it now.
Nice. I still haven't seen Dunkirk.
Oh, between that and Tom Hardy, Christopher Nolan's got this thing where he likes to cover Tom Hardy's face because he's got the most beautiful eyes.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes, indeed. Have you read Blackout and All Clear by Connie Willis?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, that's a perennial recommendation. It's like time travelers that go, they're time traveling historians, and they go back to interesting times in
I like that.
History. One of them's called Bellwether, where a lady gets stuck during the Black Plague. That one's pretty bleak, but Blackout is much more of a screwball comedy with like really heavy things happening, because it's World War II. But it's mostly centered around the Blitz, but then there's a Dunkirk section. That's the tie-in there. But yeah,
It's such an interesting story. It doesn't often get portrayed, Dunkirk, because it's not considered a successful or great moment for the British or Allied forces at that time, because it was essentially a massive retreat from France back to England. And at that point, everyone was like, how do you stop the German war machine at that point? So I'd not really heard of it much until I watched the movie, and I understand why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's a real point of retreat. It's a lovely story.
Yes, but a retreat that was so important, other than just the ordinary loss of life that would have happened, but like the numbers bear out that if they hadn't been able to retreat with their troops and materiel, like that would have been it for Britain.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's such a beautiful moment with all of the every civilian who had a boat that could carry anything just went, was just called up. You've got to do your part for the war effort. And it makes me cry. I just love moments in history of humanity triumphing out of goodness and kindness. Makes me cry.
Oh, yeah.
But it is very much considered like it's the darkest point in the war. No one knew what was going to happen. They really thought that, oh, God, we're all stuffed here.
It feels kind of like a similar moment over here in the States right now, but
oh, yeah.
I wasn't there. That might have been a lot worse of a feeling.
Oh, no.
But it does feel like we're in retreat, at least.
Yeah, it's not good times. No, this is why we need the doctor.
This episode gave us so much. I mean, we went all over the place. Our tangents were legendary today.
Adam would be proud.
Man. All right, folks. Listen to Adam. Richard has a theory. Cool people who do cool stuff. Watch My Policeman, Dunkirk. Yeah. And tell all your friends about us. Spread the word. Listen to our other series, Wizard of Oz, Thing, In the Mouth of Madness, the Bartimaeus trilogy, the Vor game, and on and on and on. Oh, the very first one that inspired the whole thing is Piranesi. If you haven't read Piranesi, it's a beautiful book, and it's not too long, so give it a read. And until then,
God, you're so annoying.
A huge thanks to James Lark of jameslark.co.uk for providing our wonderful theme song. Thank you, James.
oh my God, you're so annoying. Lots of people say that.
Oh my God, you're so annoying. We know. We know.